Yes, welcome back traders. Thanks for coming back to the channel, especially on your weekend. And it is the weekend, which means it's time for us to do a weekly forecast. So we can recap quickly what went on the last couple of weeks, but let's really think about what price action might do in the week ahead. So enough talking, let's jump into the charts so we can make sense of this together. So here we go. Okay, this is the SPY futures, the E-mini chart. And I want to start with the weekly so we can take note of where we are and what we've done. So we can quite clearly see that this week we expanded lower. Okay, we've put in a new lower low with that confirmed break of structure on a weekly. Okay, the swing point taken out. So our range right now for us to turn bullish on a weekly would be all the way back here at 44.31. Okay, so the chance of us doing that this week seem extremely low. We are continuing lower. Okay, we have this pivot point with our lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and this week the expansion lower, just like we talked about. But we need to look left and just consider where we are at. So the first thing I want to do is go from this October low last year all the way up. And you can see from this low, in terms of this whole leg, if you looked at this whole leg, we have potential to come down still into this discount range, this 50% range. And at that same point, I'm very interested in the stops down here. Okay, so I'm just going to mark this out. For some potential sell side liquidity. So a potential draw down here if we can take this out. I also want to consider that we spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks down here. Right, 2 months in this range where we had supply, we broke supply and failed, returned back into range, supply again, supply again, supply again, and then we consolidated. All right, if you consider this like an ABCD pattern, we consolidated here at the C range before the breakout. Right, so this area here might take a little bit of time to sort of work our way through. It is a potential support area. That doesn't mean I think it's going to hold up. I think you got a lot of buyers last week just bidding based on this, thinking, 4,200 would hold, or 420 on the SPY, or this area of consolidation will hold. But there's actually nothing. There's absolutely nothing from a structural point that says this is going to hold. Now, the only time frame which says we have a chance here of holding would be the monthly chart, okay? This would be the monthly chart because if we think about this, we are still in bullish order flow on a monthly. Okay, you have this leg here, you'll move up, your lower high, and this could just be potential 2-leg pullback before expansion. This is the only time frame, obviously a yearly, but I mean the only time frame reasonably that we look at, which could potentially hold structure for a move up. All right, but we need to wait. If you want to get bullish for this leg, you would need to wait for the weekly to agree with it, for the daily to agree with it. And then you want to be executing on a 4-hour or 1 hour, or ideally even lower, to get the best price point once everything is aligned for a bullish move. Right now, there is absolutely nothing to say you should be buying this. Nothing in terms of structure, okay, in terms of structure. So back to a daily, let's go back to a weekly. I'm going to look for areas of confluence here. So from a weekly, the next thing I want to look at are the anchored VWAP. So from the October low last year, we closed under this level this week. All right, we closed under this level. Now I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt because we barely closed under it. And we can do the same from the high, and you can see they match the same point. So I understand why buyers tried to step in here, but it was speculative. There was nothing in the price action that said it was definitely going to hold up. So those are the first anchors that I'm interested in. We are comfortably under the anchors set from this local swing high up here. All right, this has held us down all the way down. I can put that in for you actually from these last few pivots. Let's do these as red because these are bearish anchors. And we can do one from the last two highs as well. So where can we potentially go? Well, we could potentially look for a sweep of this level, all right? The ideal scenario I'd be looking for would be a pullback leg first, all right? That would be the ideal scenario, would be a pullback leg first before we get into that level. Obviously, I work in a weekly model, okay? I work in a weekly model where I look for Monday and Tuesday extremes and one of those to be broken. 80% of the time it will happen, and then I can get my continuation. So if you look this week, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So Monday, what do we have? A push back up. Tuesday, they tried to expand. They failed this old level here. So this old level of demand became supply, failed the anchored VWAP. And then what do? We instantly on Wednesday took out Monday's low, and then we expanded lower Thursday, Friday. So I would like a similar model to that this week, but I am aware that we are potentially in an area where buyers might step up. It doesn't mean they will. And I'm not looking to be bullish, but I am ideally looking to join the trend short. So a better level would be a retest back here before going lower. So a possible scenario would be a Monday, Tuesday push back up into here. Okay, it could even peak out and do a trap high, right? That would be even more ideal before expanding lower. Okay, now I'm not saying it's going to come down here this week. All right, I'm just saying it has the potential to expand lower. But I would ideally, rather than chasing a new money short at lows, I would like that pullback leg into confirmed areas of supply. Let's flip this to red to get short. Now, I would also consider if it took out this structure here, that's absolutely fine. It is still valid as a short until it takes out this area up here at 44, let's call it 35. Okay, so the short is still valid, the continuation. It would be a timing thing. Does it get heavy here, or does it want to do a big push up? Okay, so these are the other things I want to consider. I'm also considering where we go if we flush this out and we start attacking these lows down here. How can I measure that? So the next thing I'm thinking about are the COVID levels. All right, so let's do an anchored VWAP from the COVID low. We're going to do these as blue because these are long-term VWAPs now. And we'll do another one from the pre-COVID high. I'm pretty sure they measure up pretty close. Okay, so from a daily point of view, if we do get heavy over this whole quarter, and I am thinking the quarter, I'm now not talking about this week instantly. If we get heavy over this quarter, there is potential that we break this previous area of consolidation, that we attack this sell side liquidity, and then you could have that pullback all the way into anchored VWAPs, all right, all the way down here, just under 4,000 flat, really, let's call it. All right, so nice areas of possible consolidation down there. So let's go back and now just think about a weekly model. Make sure we're on a daily time frame. Okay, so weekly model. Monday, Tuesday high would be ideal. That would be the ideal scenario for a continuation short. However, there is no guarantee that we get that. So it could be as simple as a capitulation, Monday, Tuesday low, a sweep, and then we get a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday return back into range. All right, perfectly fine. It just means we're looking for a continuation in the following weeks. Okay, and you have to consider the news events this week. Okay, and you have to also consider the big news events this week. And really, I'm looking at Wednesday. All right, job openings, PMI, but the big one, Fed Reserve decision on interest rates, and then following that, of course, JP is going to talk. So that's going to bring a huge amount of volatility into the market. Does he pause? All right. Does he give inclination that we might be able to do a cut, or are we still too sticky? Which is kind of what he hinted at last week and the week before. And if so, is there a hint at another raise before the end of the year? Anything like that, the market is seriously going to struggle to have any form of pullback at all and will get heavy. Then we have jobless claims on Thursday, and of course we also have Apple earnings on this day. All right, so a lot of the market's going to hinge on that right now because the big seven, even when they've posted pretty good earnings, have just been flushing lower. and non-farms on Friday, just for that extra bit of spice into the week, you know. So a lot to consider this week. Stick to the weekly model. Okay, stick to the weekly model. Think about where we are Monday and Tuesday. Are we in a leg which just wants to move down early in the week before returning into range? Are we going to have a capitulation week where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday just keep failing down? Very unlikely, but you can never say never. Or are we going to have the perfect setup, which would be a Monday, Tuesday drive high before Jerome Powell just lets the waterfall go and we just puke all week? That's what I'd like. Do I think we get it? Probably not. Last few things I want to consider when looking at this. Let's just flip over to the Dixie really quick, okay? So this will do pretty much the inverse of what ES does. And as we can see here on the Dixie, I think these levels up here are just primed to get taken right now and get run. Especially with what we have going on with global events. I think this liquidity up here is just sitting here to get taken. And that being the case, any drive up here, then the ES and the Qs are going to get heavy pretty quickly. And on top of that, we can have a quick flip over at the VIX. And we are having the same issue with the VIX, right? The VIX is very comfortably basing above 20 right now. And I'm not interested in any form of pullback leg all the time we are basing above 20, all right? I would need to see the VIX get heavy underneath this gap, start to roll over and make that move back down, at least towards 18, towards this level here where it could hold some consolidation. But again, it looks primed for a breakout right now. It looks absolutely primed. And if we start accelerating through 23, it's going to be 24, 25 and up very, very, very quickly. So any talk, any talk of we're going to do an extra raise, anything where Apple's starting to sell off, I think we really see the VIX start to push. I think the Dixie starts to push and I think the market struggles. So that's what I'm going to be very, very aware of this week. So again, I'm going to just reiterate. I am not looking for a new money short early week on a breakdown. Okay, I'm not going to chase the market low. That is not my style. All right, I ideally would like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday move like this for the week. Okay, failing that, if we go lower early week, if we do a Monday and a Tuesday low, I will consider where we come into at the end of Tuesday and Wednesday. Do we do a retest and fail to break above Monday, Tuesday high for a move lower? Or in fact, do we sweep that liquidity I talked about Monday, Tuesday before potentially returning just back into range? All right, these are all models which can work this week. I do not know what we're going to do. I'm just trying to prepare you for the possible areas that we might come into. The last thing I want to consider, which I haven't really put on this chart yet, would be the SMAs. Let's just get zoomed in a little bit here and clean this up a little bit. Okay, we are comfortably trading underneath the 200. We are trading underneath the 20. This is the 5-day. The 5-day has now crossed the 200. If we get the 20-day starting to move down, I would love a back test of this 220-day and anchored VWAP in the same area for a rollover. That would just be perfect scenario for me. I don't know if we're going to get it, but I am going to be cautious. Keep an eye on this 5-day, all right? It's really, really trending lower very quickly right now. So I can imagine a little snap back into this 42.50 range, and that's a very interesting area for me as an over-under. So that's what I'm watching for the week. Good luck, trade safe. Do not oversize in this market, okay? Use your stops. Take care.